everybody, welcome to Snyder's Inc. And today we got a courtroom video. This is from hey, disappear. Hey, you disappeared too. Go away. Sorry, there's stuff popping up. I don't know if you can see it or not, but stuff just kept popping up. Anyways, I'm professional, me. We have a channel called Courtroom Consequences, and this is Craziest Courtroom Moments of all time. We won't get right into this, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the like button, subscribe button, comment what you think down below. Let's go!
Same pull the trigger that killed your son, you know, masturbates to memory.
Did you hear what he just said? Did you hear what that guy he just said? He just said, this was the hand that killed your son and now it masturbates to the memory. What the fuck? What the fuck?
40 years. Sir, yes. You just gave it 40 years. Well, guess what? Sir,
This is Jaleel Smith Riley, who is facing.
I know this one. I know this one. The guy cries. He fucking cries so much. He is just fucking bawling his eyes out because he gets the life without parole.
Charges for murder in Michigan. Smith Riley was involved in an armed robbery on November 16th, 2013, in Norwood, where he and two other men approached a parked car. Inside the parked car was 20-year-old Portia Brooks and her boyfriend, Aaron Martin. Smith Riley knocked on the window with a handgun and forced Martin, who was in the passenger seat, out of the car. Jaleel then proceeded to go through Aaron's pockets and demanded his cash. Once Jaleel had taken every dollar Aaron had, he then took his life with a shot to the head, causing permanent brain damage. However, Jaleel wasn't done there. Right after shooting Aaron, he then leaned into the car and fired at Brooks, who was sitting in the car, twice.
Let's put this thought. You went there to rob someone. Why do you need to kill them too? Why do you need to kill them? Why do you think you won't get caught for killing these people? Innocent people minding their own business and you just choose to do that. Like the fuck's wrong with you, man? What the fuck's wrong with you?
And she died 3 days later. Fortunately, Martin survived the shooting, but sustained serious injury. Before the judge announced the sentence that Jaleel would be facing, Portia's family got the chance to address the jury and the man who took their daughter away from them. Sharon Brooks, Portia's mother, brought the box containing her daughter's ashes to the courtroom, as she had for previous court dates. She stated that Smith Riley had ruined her life and killed her identity as a mother of three.
This is what I have left because of his greed, his selfishness, his complete disregard and disrespect of others and life. But as you can see, I get nothing back except the reality.
Sorry guys, had to deal with the situation. That's why there's the cut. Let's get back into this.
That she is gone.
Tia Marie Brooks, Portia's sister, also spoke emotionally and requested that Smith Riley be handed the maximum sentence.
I have to deal with life without Portia, so he should deal with life without parole.
Then, Aaron, who Jaleel shot in the head, spoke to the court.
But she's still here with us, and she will always be here. So, she's our angel looking up for us, helping us get through these hard times.
As if Smith Riley's crime was not outrageous enough, his reaction to his sentence was even more dramatic. During the trial on August 11th, 2021, Smith Riley pleaded guilty to aggravated murder and attempted murder. However, he later decided to withdraw his guilty plea against the advice of his attorneys.
From the beginning, this was an emotional day for the families of both of these victims, but when Smith Riley decided to reverse his plea halfway through the sentencing hearing, they were shocked, and his attorneys were too, in part because it puts the death penalty back on the table.
Prior to receiving his sentence, Jaleel was
Interesting. So this dumbass boy, literally like, okay, he pleads guilty, don't have to worry about the death sentence. The death sentence isn't an option. This dumbass reverses it, decides does not want to overturn his guilty verdict, which puts the death penalty back on the table. What a dumbass.
Heard apologizing in court as what appeared to be a last attempt at showing remorse. Additionally, Jaleel's attorney made a final attempt at saving face.
And he knows it. He can't go back in time and undo what he did.
Despite the tears and the apologies, Judge Charles Kubicki, presiding over the case in Hamilton County Common Pleas Court, denied Smith Riley's request and sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The 23-year-old monster that is currently rotting behind bars collapsed to the floor of the courtroom upon receiving his sentence. Smith Riley also received an additional sentence of 11 years for a related attempted murder charge. However bad you think Smith Riley's case was, it can't be compared to the infamous case of T.J. Lane.
This psychopath. This is the psychopath. Like, this is a psychopath. Crazy man. Shouldn't be allowed to see light. Shouldn't have been allowed to. He shouldn't have been allowed to even be in prison. He should be just given the death penalty and just be put. He should be the only man in the history of life itself to be put on the death penalty that gets put to death that exact day. This man is fucking insane.
This is T.J. Lane, who's facing charges for multiple murders in Ohio. T.J. Lane was a convicted American murderer who gained notoriety after committing a horrific crime at Chardon High School in Ohio. Yep. On February 27th, 2012, the Ohio Police Department responded to multiple calls from teachers and students that there was an active shooter in the building.
High school, we had shots fired, gunshots, multiple gunshots.
Chardon High School, any police up here? Was there someone in the building with a gun?
According to police reports, Lane entered the school and headed to the cafeteria. It was here that T.J. Lane opened fire and killed 3 students and severely injured 3 others. 6 people got physically harmed at the hands of T.J.
He has no care. He had no remorse. None at all. This motherfucker wears a t-shirt that just has killer written on it. He doesn't care.
Lane that day, but hundreds, if not thousands of people left Chardon High School on February 27th, 2012 with intangible pain that will last through eternity.
Glances of your friends laying all over the place, there's blood, there's people screaming, everybody's running in different directions, and you're just trying to get out.
I saw a kid holding a gun, pointing it towards a group of kids.
Do you remember the look on the gunman's face?
I never looked at his face, I just looked at the gun. I still can't think about it all, because it's just so scary.
Lane's actions sent...
Imagine the fear going through your body when you're in a school shooting situation. You're not, and you just have to hope and pray that you're just like that you aren't one of the people he chooses to kill. Because this guy didn't have a list. I don't think. This guy just started shooting.
Shockwaves through the community. He was swiftly apprehended and charged with 3 counts of aggravated murder, 2 counts of attempted aggravated murder, and 1 count of felonious assault. As if the murders were not bad enough, Lane showed no remorse for his actions at the trial and refused to cooperate with his attorneys. Instead, he appeared in court wearing a t-shirt.
Once he got caught, in his mind, he was going to jail. He knew it. He knew he was going to jail. He knew it. So he just doesn't care. He's not showing care. He's wearing a shirt that says fucking killer on it. He knows he's gonna get attention. He knows he's gonna be a fucking guy they put on shows and they're gonna do videos like this and he's gonna be all talked about, so he's just wearing a shirt that says killer on it. He's not caring. He has no remorse. He's a fucking heartless bastard. He's a heartless prick. So what he is.
Shirt with the word killer written on it, and even gave the middle finger to the victims' families. During the sentencing hearing, Lane made a shocking statement.
Saying pull the trigger that killed your son, masturbates to memory.
The statement caused outrage and disgust, not only among the families of the victims, but also across the entire nation. The judge presiding over the case, Judge David Fury, described Lane's behavior as heinous, unprovoked, and senseless, and sentenced him to 3 life sentences in prison without parole. Lane didn't even bat an eyelid when he heard his sentence. He remained emotionless and unremorseful. Lane's behavior and reactions were likened to that of a psychopath. However,
straight psychopath. That might be an insult to psychopaths, though. Like, let's be honest, this guy's even some psychopaths would fucking hate him.
Not every convict remained emotionless after hearing their sentence, like in the case of Ryan Stone. This is Ryan Stone, who is facing charges for going on a crime splurge throughout the nation, including kidnapping and assault, all of which was captured and broadcast.
Oh, I know this guy. This is the one that almost ran over an officer, didn't it? Like, stole a car, he stole everything. Yeah, we saw him in the last courtroom video, I believe.
Casted live by helicopters. The chase began after Stone hijacked a car with a 4-year-old boy inside and drove off, leading police on a dangerous pursuit that lasted more than an hour. During the chase, Stone drove up to 100 miles per hour and was reckless in every regard of the word. He's seen here overtaking an innocent civilian on the highway, throwing them out of the car before carrying on in the new vehicle. But that's not all. Watch here as he exits the highway, opens the car door at full speed, then slams onto the brakes right before crashing into another car parked in an intersection. Investigators believe this was a sorry attempt at another carjacking. Stone also crashed into several other vehicles during this chase, causing numerous injuries. At one point,
my man would have became a fucking hit. I would have been fucking hunting this boy's ass. You're like, even dare drive me a bit off the road. I'm fucking coming back for your ass, bro. You ain't done me.
He even came inches from taking out a policeman
who
was trying to place stop sticks on the highway.
Boom!
He eventually crashed the stolen car and attempted to flee on foot.
He wasn't gonna get far. He wasn't gonna get far.
However, he was quickly apprehended by police and placed in a holding cell. As if Stone's actions weren't bad enough, he was caught on...
Oh, this is the guy. I remember also, this is the guy that wanted money from fucking news channels who make money, who fucking did stuff on him. This is the guy who wanted money. It just shows he had no care, and then he blamed it on drugs. He blamed his thought process on drugs. This guy's fucking fantastic for his level of fucking idiocracy. Ingrate at his finest.
On tape, boasting about his actions to a friend who visited him in the cell.
Hey, did you know I made the news in the UK and Australia? What? Yeah, my lawyer told me I made the news in the UK and Australia. If you type in Grand Theft Auto on YouTube, my shit comes up first.
Ryan also believed that he should be compensated for his viral car chase because the news channels are using his car chase footage.
I'm gonna contact Channel 7 News or have you contact Channel 7 News or somebody. You guys aren't getting paid using my name.
Stone was charged with...
Fucking... an actual idiot. This is an actual idiot. And it all stays in form and fashion. He's an absolute imbecile.
26 crimes involving kidnapping.
26 crimes? 26 crimes? Yeah, you ain't getting out for a while.
Vehicle theft, assault, and eluding police. Stone's sentencing hearing was emotional. In court, many of his victims and their families could be heard speaking about the impact of his crimes on their lives. Some spoke of physical injuries they had sustained in the crash, while others described the emotional trauma they had experienced due to the incident. Stone spoke at the hearing. He cried, expressed remorse for his actions, and apologized to his victims. Isn't it ironic that in the same week, Ryan was captured in the video on the left, laughing and boasting about his crimes, and on the other video on the right, he's seen crying and begging for sympathy from the court, as he finally realized the severity of his actions. Despite his apology, the judge in the case was unmoved, noting that Stone had shown a
once you have that clip of him boasting and bragging and acting like a total dick to the person who visited him, who, by the way, he happened to surround himself with people and like that, because the people who visited him clearly did not even seem to want to make him grasp the severity of his actions. Like, no one around him seemed to understand the danger that he put in everyone's life.
Pattern of criminal behavior, and that he posed a threat to society. The judge handed down the maximum sentence possible. Stone pleaded guilty to all charges and was sentenced to 160 years in prison without the possibility of parole.
Oh yeah, he's eligible for 75 years. His ass ain't never getting out. His ass, what, 30? 30-some years old? Gotta be at least close to it. 75 years from now, yeah, he won't be alive anymore.
Stone was in tears when he learned he'd spend the rest of his life in prison. Stone blamed his actions on drugs, and his show of remorse might be sincere. However, some convicts are rather shocked by their sentences, like in the case of Seth Welch.
Yes! They're my two favorite. These two will always be my favorite reactions, mainly for the guy. This guy is always my favorite reaction because he just somehow never processes in his brain. It never processed he might go to jail for his crime. So his jaw-dropping reaction is my favorite of all time.
And Tatiana Fusari. This is Seth Welch and Tatiana Fusari, who are facing charges for first-degree murder in Michigan. Seth and Tatiana were the parents of 10-month-old Mary Ann Welch, who police said died of malnutrition and dehydration due to neglect on August 2nd, 2018, in Solon Township, Kent County, Michigan. Child Protective Services have been involved with the family since 2014 after THC was found in the system of their firstborn child. Mary weighed only 8 pounds at the time of her death. Her parents refused to seek medical help, citing religious reasons and distrust of the medical system.
Distrust of the medical system is one thing. I am going to ask this again, because no one... Can anyone tell me what religion they follow? Well, getting medical help for your sick child is a sin. Can someone tell me what religion makes them unable to get help for their child? Because I can't think that there's one that exists unless they make one up.
The family home was found to be unhygienic during the initial investigation, with evidence of vermin, insects, and mold. The doctor who performed the autopsy confirmed that Mary was suffering from chronic malnutrition caused by withholding food and water. Seth's call to 911 revealed their level of neglect for their daughter.
And he said, when you found her, she was already believed to be deceased, right? Yes. And that's when you consulted with a lawyer?
Oh yeah, this is another one where his first thing when he found his dead child's body and realized they were dead was to call their lawyer to figure out what to do next. And the lawyer being like, fucking moron, you call 911, what are you doing? Call the lawyer and fucking, I think it was what, he put it to bed at like 3 o'clock, 3 in the afternoon, something like that, 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and didn't bother to even check up and didn't bother to do anything till like 10 in the morning the next day.
Yep. Do you believe she was beyond help already? Oh yeah, she was dead at the door now.
When in court, the prosecutors made sure to highlight just how neglectful the parents were of their 10-month-old child.
You didn't know that. And don't tell me you didn't intend that because you didn't get her little tush out of that crib. You left her in there. You ignored her because she was an inconvenience.
The couple was initially charged with felony homicide murder in August 2018. In June 2020, Seth Welch was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole. In 2021, Fusari testified that her husband was abusive and that she was not allowed to take Mary to the doctor.
Oh, so now it went from religious reasons to it's the guy's fault. Okay. I don't buy that for a second, because if you cared about your child, at all, you'd say, fuck that guy. Because if I was me, and I was in an abusive relationship, and told me you ain't taking the child to a hospital, I would rather take that abuse and make sure my child went safety than ignoring the child and watching it and having it die. That's just me. Because I feel my child's life is more important than me getting hit.
Very angry with me. He smacked me across the face and he told me that he knows how I He said, you know what the I think about doctors. I told you Mary is fine. She's fine, now drop it.
In November 2021, Fusari was sentenced to life without parole for first-degree murder and an additional 15 to 30 years for first-degree child abuse. When the judge pronounced their life sentence, Seth's mouth dropped open in shock.
I love this actor so much, he couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. It is my favorite reaction of all time. Now, who knows, they might show me other ones that take the cake. But this is my favorite reaction I have ever seen.
And Fusari started crying. For many people, this couple got what they deserved.
Absolutely.
However, this wasn't the only time a convict got a sentence that felt like justice. There was the case of Esteban Carpio. This is Esteban Carpio, who is facing charges for murder in Rhode Island. Carpio is an American murderer who killed a detective at a Providence police station in 2005. Providence Police Detective Sergeant James L. Allen and another detective were questioning Carpio at the Providence Police headquarters for accosting an 85-year-old woman, Madeline Gata. According to police reports, the second detective left to the third-floor interview room to retrieve some water. It was here where things took a turn for the worst.
Carpio had asked for water, and the two detectives that were in there with him, one left to go get the water and locked the door behind him. And they tragically heard Detective Allen say, I think he's going to kill me. He's got my gun, he's going to kill me. By the time they broke it down, the officer was dying, and Carpio had jumped out the window.
However, he was recaptured a few minutes later amid struggles with the police, but that was not the end of the drama. Due to the risky jump and struggles with the police, Carpio sustained injuries. When it came time for his sentencing, Carpio came to court wearing a mask designed to keep him from spitting at or biting others. His face was red, bruised, and swollen.
Holy crap, I will admit, this is a hell of a look. I would say maybe? Should have waited till he was healed before you brought him into court? Maybe? Because this is brutal looking. God.
When he appeared in court, his family members screamed and accused the police of brutality. The family believed that they forced him to wear the mask to try and hide the brutal revenge beating they gave Carpio behind closed doors. In fact...
Listen. It probably ain't the case. But I can't write it out. Okay? Listen. I know it's like, oh, look, he's again going after plea. Listen. You are talking about a man who killed a detective inside that police station. You are talking about someone who was their friend, their acquaintance, he probably respected, they cared about him. You are talking about a man who heartlessly killed him. It would not be out of the realm of possibility in my mind that there were a few officers in that courtroom or in that jail who felt they needed to get some justice, okay? I'm not saying it's unnecessary. I'm not saying it like, I can understand their anger and their frustration. This guy clearly has no care or remorse, so I can understand it. But I can't rule out that he might have been given a beatdown, a fucking brutal beatdown, and then told to put the mask, forced to put the mask on to hide it. I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility.
In fact, Carpio's aunt went on live TV to say this.
It's police brutality. He was mentally ill, and he needed help, and we couldn't get it. We tried and tried, and he didn't deserve this.
However,
at the end of the day, he still killed a detective. Your mental health or anything, that doesn't unjust you. You still killed a person. He still killed someone. He has to go to jail for that. He has to suffer for that.
Providence Police Chief Dean M. Esserman argued that Carpio's injuries were sustained when he jumped from the third-floor interview room and resisted arrest. The FBI later investigated the police, but it was concluded that they did not use excessive force.
No civil rights violation when injuries are incident to arrest. Meaning, if he's fighting the police officers, the officers have the right to use whatever force necessary to subdue the subject.
On June 20th.
Also, if you do jump out of a third-story window, your ass gonna end up injured afterwards. You ain't gonna be fine.
7th, 2006, a jury found Carpio guilty of the murder of Detective Allen and the stabbing of Madeline Gata. Despite his plea of insanity, Carpio was sentenced to life in prison without parole. At first, he showed little reaction to his sentence and remained unmoved. However, later, in an attempt to win over the jury, he was heard apologizing for his actions.
Every day, I face the facts of what I did and what happened.
Carpio claimed he was suffering from mental illness at the time of the crime, but the court didn't entertain the claims. However,
it's possible. That doesn't undo it, though. That doesn't undo you stabbing a defenseless old woman and then shooting a detective. That doesn't undo that just because you have mental illness. There's still 2 lives taken because of him. That's the end of it.
However evil you think Carpio is, how does he compare to Kayla Mendoza, who tweeted this the same night she took 2 girls' lives in a deadly drunk driving crash? This is Kayla Mendoza.
Ms. Mendoza, to 2 counts of DUI manslaughter. That's count 1 and count 3. How do you plead?
Who is facing charges for double manslaughter, among other charges, in Florida. The 20-year-old woman who was not licensed to drive was convicted of the murder of 2 women while drunk driving in Fort Lauderdale, Florida on November 17, 2013. Before the crash, Mendoza went to a local bar with her manager and colleagues from her job where she drank 2 fishbowl margaritas. A few hours later, Mendoza got behind the wheel of a Hyundai Sonata and drove the wrong way on the Sawgrass Expressway.
Who the hell gave her a car? She doesn't have a license, so she can't own a car. Who gave her a car to drive?
Kayla hopped into her car and went speeding the wrong way down the freeway at more than 80 miles an hour. She collided head-on with another car, killing these 2 beautiful young women, Marissa Petronio and Caitlin Ferrante, both just 21.
Mendoza was charged with 2 counts of DUI manslaughter while impaired, 2 counts of DUI manslaughter with an unlawful blood alcohol level, 2 counts of vehicular homicide, and 2 counts of driving without a license causing death. Mendoza's then-boyfriend owned the Hyundai Sonata involved in the crash and explained that the Too Drunk to Care tweet was directed toward him.
The Too Drunk to Care tweet was for my boyfriend because he was upset I was out, hanging out with them and with Marcelo drinking because he wanted me to be home.
The Ferrante and Catronio families filed lawsuits against Mendoza, her boyfriend, the T-Mobile store where Mendoza was employed, and the Tijuana Taxi Company. On May 4th, 2015.
Okay, hold on. Let's unwind this. So her and her boyfriend. If the boyfriend is her car, is his car, fine. The people who, the T-Mobile store that she employs had nothing to do with this. That is her. They took out drinking. Yes, they're her friends out drinking. But at the end of the day, it's her responsibility. It ain't theirs. What she does, how she gets home, is her responsibility. She knows better. She is 20 years old. She knows what better. She knows better. Now and then the bar, once you leave that bar, have no responsibility, in my opinion. When you're there, they can try to make sure you leave safely. They can try their best. They can cut you off. They can do whatever. Once you leave that bar, they can't really do much. You're not really they're not obligated to do anything. Once she left that bar and got into that vehicle, there was nothing that place could have done. They gave her 2 drinks. Now the Bish Bowl drinks, I'm going to assume she wasn't the only one drinking them, but she drank 2 of them. Probably should not have been given any more drinks after that. Probably shouldn't have been given drinks after 1. I don't know how strong one of them drinks are. I've never drank one. So I don't know how responsible things. The T-Mobile people and the other one, I'm not really sure how responsible they are. Fucking suing her and her boyfriend, I completely get it.
2 months after pleading guilty to 2 DUI manslaughter charges, Mendoza was sentenced to 24 years in prison. Mendoza was apologetic throughout the trial. When she heard her sentence, her apology and crying intensified.
How much time passes, I'm gonna live with that in my heart every day.
After her sentence, Mendoza will also serve 6 years of probation and is permanently banned from driving a motor vehicle. Mendoza's apologies and
shouldn't have been allowed to drive her own vehicle in the first place. You better be watching her when she gets out. Because clearly she did it without a license anyways. I still like to know how she got into a vehicle in the first place. I guess her boyfriend just gave her a car.
remorse showed that she may yet be saved. However, the same cannot be said for Adrian Dunn. This is Adrian Dunn, who is facing charges for murder in San Antonio. Adrian, an ex-convict, was sentenced for the murder of Rakim Tariq Charles. Police said that Adrian shot Charles in the back during a drug deal in a parking lot on July 16, 2012. To make matters worse, this wasn't even Dunn's first encounter with law enforcement.
To prison twice for possessing a firearm after this murder. He committed another shooting a month before this murder. And he's shown zero remorse.
Prosecutors urged the jury to impose the maximum sentence, noting that Adrian had an extensive criminal history and had shown no remorse for the murder. Prosecutor Jason Goss can be seen here holding the hand of the victim's parents. Before arguing to the jury that a life sentence was necessary to prevent another family from suffering, as Charles' family had.
Her son, who has to suffer, and this family who has to suffer because of the defendant. And that's why we're asking you for a life sentence.
If you thought the crimes were horrendous, wait till you see.
I love this. See, here's the thing. I've always wanted to be in the courtroom for a murder case. The only reason being, but I want one like this. I don't want one where it's like, oh, crime of passion, something like that. No. I want one where the guy shows no remorse. I want to know how a defense attorney does this. I want to know how a defense attorney is able to defend these people. Defense attorneys have the worst job you can have. Because you gotta defend murderers, rapists, predators, whatever you want to call them. They gotta defend the most heinous of crimes. I don't know how they do it and sleep at night. I actually don't. I've never been able to figure it out.
See how Adrian reacted to his sentence. Throughout the trial, Adrian showed no remorse and couldn't have been less concerned. He was found guilty of the crime. Still, his attorney argued that a sentence of 35 to 40 years would be more appropriate. His reasoning?
Don't give Adrian a chance to go into prison and try to make something of himself so that when he gets out, if he ever gets out, he can try to be an asset to our community.
Fuck that, man! How do you do this? How do you do this? I couldn't. I'd like just throw him in jail. Throw him in jail. He deserves to be in jail. Fuck.
However, the jury deliberated for just 2 hours before returning with a sentence of life in prison.
Of course!
As the jury's decision was read out, Adrian began to fight with Bexar County Sheriff's deputies attempting to escort him from the courtroom. Dunn's behavior was marked by profanity and outbursts. He was eventually subdued and removed from the court. Adrian's case can be termed a drug case gone bad. However, while he remains stoic and combative, there are other convicts who break down in court and feel genuine remorse for their actions, like in the case of Ellis Nelson Ortiz Nieves.
Yep, we know this one. This is one of those ones where he fights. And this is one where the family even tells him to stop fighting because they know it's gonna make it worse.
This is Ellis Nelson Ortiz Nieves.
The bruises, some of the bruises were in the shape of a belt buckle.
Man, I ain't gonna let you sit here and say no crazy shit about me, man. No, man, because he's staying shit he don't even know, man.
He was facing charges for the murder of an infant in Michigan. The cause of death was physical abuse.
Ooh. Oh yeah, you deserve to go in prison for life. Yeah.
Abuse, which was later ruled as murder. The 4-year-old boy, Giovanni Mejias, was the son of Ortiz Nieves' girlfriend, Sonia Hernandez. Sonia claimed she had no involvement in the crime. However, her neighbor had a different side of the story.
Sonia was well aware. She was well aware of what was happening because she told him that was his responsibility to whoop them.
Ortiz Nieves did not.
Oh, that neighbor threw her under the bus, rightfully so. She's like, I had no knowledge of it. He's like, no, you told him it's his responsibility to whoop these kids. It's his job to do so, so she's well aware of it.
Denied abusing the boy, but the judge and prosecutors believe his beating the child resulted in his death. Kent County deputies...
I don't know if she actually was involved in beating him, but I guess if she's well aware of that he's doing it, and she does nothing, in my mind, she's just as responsible.
Reported that when they arrived at the Gaines Township trailer, where Ortiz Nieves was left to care for several children under 11, it was here that they found Giovanni left on the kitchen floor. An autopsy showed that Giovanni died from internal bleeding caused by an abdominal tear, which would have been caused by an adult, not a child. During the trial, Kent County Circuit Court Judge Mark Trusock can be heard condemning Ortiz Nieves' actions, reprimanding him in very strong words, and insisting that he should never be allowed out of prison.
You are the lowest form of human life that I've been able to observe or see. That you committed this murder and that you beat this little boy to death.
The judge described the injuries suffered by Giovanni before his death, causing Ortiz Nieves to become upset and struggle with deputies, who had to remove him from the courtroom.
You had put cigarettes out on this poor little child. There was evidence of that from the pictures. Anybody says anything back there?
Ortiz Nieves was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole and was given a sentence of 80 to 150 years for first-degree child abuse. Ortiz Nieves
absolutely deserved it. You deserves to rot in prison for the shit he did. Absolutely deserves to rot in prison.
His reaction might suggest that he is guilty. However, this wasn't the only time a convict reacted emotionally to their sentence. There is the case of Jordan Fuss. This is Jordan Fuss.
I'm sorry. I wish it was me. I did not deserve it. I did.
Facing charges for manslaughter in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The 22-year-old was found guilty of DUI manslaughter in a 2014 crash that claimed the life of 6-year-old Santiago Geraldo. Fuss, shaking uncontrollably as he entered the courtroom with his family, had a blood alcohol level of 0.21%, which is more than twice the legal limit. He was traveling over 90 miles per hour on Sterling Road when he crashed his 2004 Infiniti G35 into another vehicle at Davie Road just before midnight on October 3, 2014. Prosecutors had sought the maximum sentence for the crime. Fuss' attorney argued for a reduced sentence, stating that his client had been so remorseful that he had contemplated suicide. However, prosecutors stated that Fuss had admitted to using alcohol and smoking marijuana since the crash. The Geraldo family cried in court, while the defense argued for a lighter sentence. Santiago's father took the stand.
Yeah, see, Kate, that's when you know something's up there. Because in me, if I should have crashed because drinking, because of the fact of, like, my drink caused the death of someone, I couldn't touch alcohol again. Even if I was set free, I couldn't touch it. Like, I could not look at alcohol without my body shaking and, like, fucking memories. I wouldn't be able to do it. I would just see the picture of that child and I wouldn't be able to do it. The fact he can drink afterwards again, oh god. The fact he can touch alcohol after that.
And had this to say while staring directly into Jordan's eyes.
May God forgive you, because I can't. You didn't just take my son's life, you took mine too.
During the trial, Fuss can be seen apologizing to the victim's family in tears.
I'm sorry. I wish it was me. I did not deserve it. I did.
He also expressed his love for his family members and girlfriend, whom he met online after the crash. Then came the verdict as Jordan was sentenced to 14 years in prison.
The court imposes the lowest permissible prison sentence allowable by Florida's Criminal Punishment Code, 14.625 years.
He continued crying as he learned his fate.
I love you guys so much. I love you.
Fuss might have learned his lesson. However, some crimes require more than being remorseful, like in the case of Antonio Barbo, a 13-year-old...
Oh, I know this one. This one's fucked up. This is a guy who broke into his great-grandma's house just for $155. The man would they stabbed her a fucking shitload of time. This guy, these two fucking teens are fucked up so much.
Who murdered his own grandmother for money to buy pizza and pot. This is Antonio Barbo, who is facing charges for murder in Wisconsin. 14 years old. Barbo was in court for the murder of his 78-year-old great-grandmother, Barbara Olson. Rather than trying to explain what this 14-year-old monster did, let's hear it directly from the mouth of the killer.
I tried to scare her to get money and then use force if needed. An attack, I guess to kill.
The boys hid weapons in their...
Think this in your head. You just need money. You want money. You want money for pizza and marijuana. Money for pizza you probably could get. I mean, a grandmother just usually gives you money. You know, they just want money. They'll give you money if they have money. That's not a problem. For you want money for pizza, here's some money. I don't know if they'll give you money for marijuana at 14 years old. Probably not. You probably won't get jack shit for that. But they'll give you money for pizza. You didn't need to fucking do this, you psychopath. What's wrong with you? You that desperate for money? You that desperate for marijuana? Any marijuana dealer ain't want nothing to do with your ass after they probably find that out. Holy shit.
Their pants before catching a ride to be dropped off at Antonio's grandma's house. What happened when the boys got inside is shocking.
She knew I was on the run and she said she was going to call my mom. He nodded and then I took the first swing.
Okay, and when you say that you took the first swing is with the hand axe?
Yes, sir.
Antonio also said that he tried to put his great-grandmother's body in a car trunk, but when he couldn't, he left it in the garage and covered it with a blanket. Judy, Barbara's granddaughter, was the person who discovered the body. She quickly ran to a neighbor's house to call the police.
Please send an ambulance and the police. My mother is laying in the garage and there's a lot of blood and there's a blanket over her head. There's a lot of blood.
How did the blanket get over her?
I have no idea.
And how old is your mother?
She is, 78.
And is she breathing?
I don't know. I can't look. The blanket is over her head and I can't look.
Okay, who's here with you?
Oh, God, the neighbor.
Okay, can the neighbor check if she's breathing?
Oh,
you don't have to go and look. You don't have to go. If your neighbor can just go and check if she's breathing.
Okay, they would like you to...
Are you sending somebody?
I'm working on it. I need to know if she's breathing.
While Judy and her neighbor are left frantic.
I do love this one. She's just like, listen, is she breathing? I don't know. I can't go check. I don't want to go check. The blank's overhead. Look, she's my mother. And I was like, hey, who's with you? Your neighbor. Can she go see? Can he go see? The neighbor's just like, well, aren't you supposed to send someone? It's like, I'm trying to. I need to know if she's breathing or not. Let me know. Go check her. If she's breathing, I can let people know and they'll go faster. If she's not, like, goddamn, just let me know if she's breathing.
Frantic to call for help and try and save Barbara, Antonio and his accomplice used the $155 to get high and enjoy some pizza. During the trial, you can see Barbo reading a statement, apologizing for the killing and asking for forgiveness. Barbo said he regretted his actions. Regardless of his apologies, Barbo was sentenced to life imprisonment as he continued crying. However shocking you think Barbo's case was, LaShirley Morris's case.
So yeah, he got life in prison, which he deserved, because that was heartless what he did, and they didn't deserve that. His great-grandmother did not deserve that at all.
Gives it a run for its money. This is LaShirley Morris, who is facing charges for murder in Atlanta. LaShirley is accused of killing 3-year-old Kwan Mason. The cause of death was physical abuse with a baseball bat, which was later ruled as a homicide. The incident occurred October 21st, 2017, when Morris beat the boy as punishment. But what punishment could be so severe that a child is beaten to death? Well, listen here.
And then a violent death for taking a cupcake from the kitchen.
A child who was inside the home with...
This woman can rot in hell. This woman can rot in hell.
Witnessed the attack and reported the events to the police.
All over a fucking cup. I'm sorry, I try not to lose it there, but all over a fucking cupcake. Give me a fucking break. Give me a break.
Not awake, he's not alert.
No, he's not alert. He was breathing at first. Now he's not breathing.
Morris's sister, Glendria Morris, was also charged in the child's death because she did not intervene during the incident. The victim, Kwan Mason, lived with Glendria Morris, who was also his legal guardian at the time of the alleged killing. Kwan and 3 of his siblings entered the Division of Family and Child Services care after their mother was arrested on a reckless conduct charge in March 2017. According to DFCS records, Mason allegedly left her children home alone, had anger issues, and abused the children. Geraldine Mason, the victim's mother, was released in April 2017 and reunited with one of her children, but requested temporary guardianship for Kwan and his twin brother, according to DFCS records. In court, the 911 call LaShirley made showed that the baby was already dead before first responders arrived. LaShirley Morris was found guilty of murder, aggravated assault, and cruelty to children charges, and was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after pleading guilty to murder.
Wow, she got the possibility of parole? I wouldn't have given it to her. Clearly heartlessly fucking abused these children and then beat us, his son so bad he died. Like, yeah, that doesn't deserve parole at all.
LaShirley's actions were horrible. However, Hoskins' reaction seemed to top it. This is Jaleel Hoskins, who is facing charges for murder in Michigan for the murder of his girlfriend Latrice Mays. Mays, a mother of 5, disappeared in March of 2013. Her sudden and mysterious absence led to her family wanting answers and ultimately a nationwide search. Initially, Hoskins denied being involved with the murder whatsoever.
I have nothing to do with the murder. I have nothing to do with the disappearance.
However, Hoskins quickly changed his plea when he heard the testimonials and evidence being argued against him. First, Hoskins' own cousin took the stand.
After the domestic or whatever happened, I guess she, after they left, she said she was going to tell the police that he stabbed her about doing it.
Doing what?
Killing her. I guess he choked her or something.
Did he say he choked her?
Yes.
Then, one of Hoskins' close friends took the stand.
He said, I did her,
His people, the people he surrounded himself with, turned on him like that. Now, I don't know if they turned on him to save their own ass, or they turned on him because they actually feel he needs to go to jail. Probably the first one. But they turned on him. After that, he was like, well, fucking hell, I gotta better plead guilty, I guess. Fucking hell, they have no way to prove me innocent right now.
I need her, I need some help. I can't carry her by myself.
Lastly, on the same day of the murder, police dashcam footage showed them responding to a call Latrice had made in which she claimed Hoskins was abusing her. After hearing the piles of evidence against him, Hoskins was forced to change his plea. Hoskins pleaded guilty to the murder of Latrice Mays and also admitted to tampering with the evidence. Hoskins, a habitual criminal offender, decided to take Mays' life because he was afraid she would report his assault on the father of 2 of her children to the police. Hoskins was initially charged with open murder, which carries a mandatory life sentence without the possibility of parole. Mays was afraid she would not regain custody of 2 of her children if she did not cooperate with law enforcement in the assault against the children's father. Hoskins was given a maximum life sentence in prison as a repeat offender. He attacked the podium before being restrained by police. Hoskins' reaction was crazy. However, nothing could prepare you for the reaction.
Oh yeah, this guy throws his own fucking feces or something like that at the fucking someone. I don't know if it's the judge, but that's someone.
Of Ricky Hand. This is Ricky Hand.
A Springfield man possibly facing new charges tonight after he throws urine and feces on his attorney in court.
You just give me 40 years.
Who was facing charges for multiple robberies in Ohio. Ricky had been on a robbing spree, hitting numerous local convenience stores late at night and running off with some extra cash. However, this crime spree would soon come to an end the night he decided to try his luck with John's drive-thru. In the footage here, we can find the owner of the shop beginning to close down.
Oh, this is the one that guy shoots him, is it? This is the guy, I saw this in a fun video. Is this the one where the guy shoots him? Like the owner of the store shoots him?
For the night. Little did this small business owner know, there was an armed Ricky Hand lurking the building. As Ricky began to make his way to the door, he's greeted by the owner who is armed and begins firing to scare Ricky off. After this failed robbery attempt, the shop owner called the police to inform them that there had just been a robbery attempt that resulted in a man getting shot.
Yeah, this is John's drive-thru.
Southwest Main Street. A guy just tried to rob me and I shot him. He ran out the back door.
Okay, is he injured?
I think I hit him.
It would only take a couple of days for Ricky to admit himself to a hospital in order to treat the bullet wounds he left John's drive-thru with that night. It was here police arrested and questioned him about that night.
I did try to rob John's drive-thru. He got shot 3 times. I did the crime, I ain't gonna lie. I just wanted to live.
When the case took to the courtroom, Hand was sentenced to 40 years. The reason the judge gave Ricky such a long sentence is because they were also able to prove he was guilty for carrying out a string of robberies across Springfield, Ohio. Hand lost it when he heard that he would spend decades in jail. Hand reached for bottles of his own excrement and urine, which were hidden in an arm sling, and threw it at his lawyer in court. You can see Hand reach for the bottles of filth.
Fucking disturbing bastard. What the fuck?
As a result of the courtroom incident, Hand was charged with an additional 5 counts of harassment with bodily substances, 1 for his attorney and 4 for the deputies present. He's also charged with obstructing official business and retaliation. If you thought these reactions were shocking, you'd be amazed at this video of dangerous killers who wanted.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this reaction video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all for the next one.